and fifth semester as students of English Language Education Study Program Faculty or Teacher and Education, Nias Raya University. Now, I'm going to talk about the topic relationship between students' motivation and reading comprehension at the fourth semester students of English Language Education Study Program Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Nias Raya University. In this presentation, I will discuss three parts. The first is introduction, and the second is literature review, and the third is research methodology. Well, in the chapter 1 is about introduction, part A about background of the problems. In English language, of course, have 4 types of language, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Listening and reading as input, and speaking and writing is output. But in here, I just focus about the reading. Reading comprehension is understanding and interpretation of what is read. To be able to accurately understand written material, children need to be able to decode what they read and make connection between what they already read and think deeply about what they have read. About student reading comprehension, have some factors that influence student reading comprehension. That is perception, beliefs, motivation, and problem-solving strategies. So, how about reading comprehension relationship with motivation? In here, motivation very have a big influence with students when they learn, because students cannot get something when they don't have a big motivation. For example, only read a text, but they cannot find what is the purpose of the text, or they can find what the main idea in a paragraph. So in here, some give opinion or give the statement. Sari states that student motivation has a positive correlation towards students' reading comprehension. And Marcellus expresses that students' motivation only has moderate effect in reading comprehension. The untouched aspect on how does the student's motivation contribute toward reading comprehension. That is a correlation research. And next, in part B, identification of the problems. So my research is having 3 identified problems. The first is factors which can interfere students' motivation. The second is factors which may impact the students' reading comprehension. And the last is relationship between students' motivation and reading comprehension. Part C about limitation of the problems. That is about relationship between students' motivation and reading comprehension at the 4th semester students of English Language Education Study Program of Teacher Training and Education, Nias Raya University. And part D about formulation of the problem. First, is there any relationship between students' motivation and reading comprehension at the 4th semester students English Language Education Study Program? The second is, to what extent does the students' motivation contribute reading comprehension at the 4th semester students of English Language Education Program of Teacher Training and Education, Nias Raya University? And part E about objective of the research is to find out the relationship between students and reading comprehension at the 4th semester. and to find out the contribution of students' motivation to reading comprehension. And part F is significance of the research. Have two parts is theoretically and practical. That is lecture, student, research, and next research. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in the chapter 2 about literature review. Firstly, I want to explain for you all about definition of motivation. According to Cole and Chain, motivation is concerned with personal energy direct towards the achievement or particular goals. So, ladies and gentlemen, the motivation very important to us when very important to students when they learn, especially when read something. Because if we have real true motivation, they will get a knowledge and they can make their self know what is their read. Because reading comprehension not only what we can read something, but reading comprehension refers to if we have the ability to understand and we can try to explain for the other people what we find. And I will explain for you about the types of motivation. Motivation is divided into parts, namely intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. According to the Theorian, intrinsic motivation is the energy source that is central to the active natures of the organism, whereas intrinsic motivation is fueled by the anticipation of a reward from outside and beyond self. Typical intrinsic rewards are many, prize, grades, and even certain types of positive feedback. Behavior needed solely to avoid punishment are also intrinsically motivation. Well, and the next is I will discuss about the characteristics of students' motivation. Characteristics of students' motivation have 7 parts. The first is positive task orientation. It means focus on the defeat to completing certain tasks. I mean that if the lecturer or the teacher gives assignment for the students, so the students will try to done it. She or her will prepare herself to make the goals. They will finish it. And the second is ego involvement. It means that the students has followed the teacher instruction and research. I mean in here that students, when the teacher when the lecturer give assignment, the students must focus to hear what is the lecturer say. For example, you will make a paper or you will read and then you explain in front of the class, or many ways. And then is need for achievement. That is the part 3. The needs for excellence is a theory of the need that explains that motivation is humans is determined by the desire to achieve excellence. And the fourth is high aspiration. desire to achieve something, height or greed, and aspiration to become famous, an object of such desire on active career. So in here, the students must have a big desire, even or when the lecturer gives the text, and I as student say, oh, I must do the best for this task. I must get a good score for this task. And then is a goal orientation. The goal orientation is an individual discussion towards developing or validating one's ability in a segment setting. And sixth is preference, requires electrical power to operate. You must have a big spirit when you done your task, because when the students excellent is there will make sure their self will be done their text. For example, when I read something about descriptive text, I cannot know what the text talk about if I just once time I read that. But I must try for much time, so I can get any information for the text, so I be able to understand, and all of the question I can answer it. And then is a tolerance of ambiguity can be defined as the degree to which all individuals is comfortable with uncertainty, unpredictability, conflicting direction, and multiple demands. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will explain what is reading. Reading is interaction with the language that has been coded into print. Reading comprehension is a complex task which requires the orchestration of many different cognitive skills and abilities. And here, I will share you that level taxonomy of reading comprehension, that is literal comprehension, interferential comprehension, and critical comprehension. And next part is assessing reading comprehension. According to Witri, the question that teacher and ask in order to check from comprehension may be as below. Part A, literal question, interpretive question, critical reading question, and creative reading question. And then about conceptual framework, about language, English, have the relationship, as I told for the first is the types of language are listening, reading, speaking, and writing. And reading comprehension have the relationship with students' motivation, and that is a correlation research and have the result and calculation. Okay, for the last, in the chapter 3 about research methodology. In research methodology, I have four parts. The first is a research design. That is about correlation research. And part B about population and sample. The population and sample is 4 semester students of English language education study program of teacher training Education, Nias Raya University, and research instrument is by questionnaire, test, and the depth analysis is quantitative data. So ladies and gentlemen, that is about my presentation. If you have the question, I give you a time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask once again, if you have a question for my presentation, time is yours.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, Witri, please.
Thank you for giving it to me. I have a question about your topic for today. I'm very interested in your topic, and I'm confused about your topic about what is the difference of motivation internal and motivation external. How to differentiate between both the sentence, and how to use in daily activity or activities for the students. Thank you.
Well, thanks for your question. About your question, I have described it in the chapter 2 about types of motivation. When you say how I can differentiate between motivation internal and external. I'm sorry. And actually, motivation intrinsic and extrinsic. Well, I have explained before about intrinsic motivation is the energy source that is central to the active nature of the organism. And actually, intrinsic motivation is for ourselves. That is not have influence for environment, for the nature of our friends, but that is focused for ourselves. I mean, for example, if now the lecturer give the text, please you read this narrative text, and please you find the purpose of the text or what is the main idea, and then please you explain about it. In here, motivation intrinsic is with myself. When I have the high motivation, I have the desire, I want to try to make myself understand about the text by lecture. So the big spirit is only ourselves. And how about the extrinsic motivation is the output. For example, we can get it for our parents or our lecture, and some others need is our friends. They will say for us, please do your best, do your homework. And then in here, extrinsic motivation, like I say, is influenced by the anticipation of a reward from outside and beyond the self. Typical extrinsic rewards are money, prize, grades, and even certain types of positive feedback behavior imitate. So live to avoid punishment are also extrinsic motivation. So Jessie, I can answer with you. Witri?
Yes, of course. That's correct, your answer.
Well, thanks. If you have any question?
No question.
I understand.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful I can do my presentation now, and I'm very happy you can follow my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. and you give your pay attention for me, I hope that you will get something for my presentation and can help you as a learner. If you have the difficulty to teach the students how to make their have the comprehension in reading. So I'm Witri karunia. I will.
Tiga.